Hello and all, welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis, and I want to say the most recent episode of Joe Rogan podcast. I believe it's the one where he hosted Joey Diaz, the Joey Diaz episode. Obviously, they spoke about many things, but some of the things that were obviously discussed on that podcast involved fighting, specifically featherweight division in the UFC, more specifically a guy in the name of Jean Silva. Obviously, Rogan has very high expectations for the rising featherweight contender, and he has a phenomenal suggestion for a fight against another phenomenal fighter in the featherweight division. That's Yair Rodriguez. So we're talking Jean Silva versus Yair Rodriguez, perhaps to determine the number one contender for that title, the featherweight title, that is. We're going to talk about Rogan's comments. Before getting started, make sure to like, subscribe, click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, one and only MMA Vision Analysis. Obviously, as we mentioned, Rogan thinks that Yair Rodriguez versus Jean Silva is the fight to make. In all honesty, as far as Yair is concerned, it's either Jean Silva or you guessed it, Diego Lopez. I thought that the Diego Lopez fight was the one to make, especially taking into consideration the verbal altercation that the two had in that UFC press conference, 314 that is. And obviously it puts that fight, I think, in the sight, in sights of the UFC, just because obviously Diego Lopez just lost the title, so it would make sense that he fights Yair Rodriguez. But Rogan suggests that Jean Silva is perhaps the one to match up against Yair Rodriguez. Look, it's very difficult to argue with the suggestion. I mean, this would make for a phenomenal fight that could headline a card on its own, right? And perhaps even determine the number one contender for that featherweight title. Both guys are coming off of wins, impressive wins, and putting the two together perhaps would make for an iconic fight. Truly mean that. If you made it this far, appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe for more.